How are you, Todd?
I'm very well, Bailey. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. It's an honor to be speaking to you today. I had the opportunity to watch the film before, and I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
I'm a fan of your previous work as well. You wrote Sully, you produced Elf. I'm a very big fan of your work. And as a director, obviously you kind of, I guess your style and your way to do things kind of evolves over time as you get kind of you learn and I guess evolve with other projects you've done. I was wondering if you took any inspiration from your past films when directing this.
It's a great question. I don't know if you got all the way to the end credits, but the
I
first
did.
two people I thank are my wife and Clint Eastwood. I learned, I essentially learned what a movie set is supposed to be on Sully. I'd been on sets my entire career, but I'd never been on a proper set. And a Clint set is no one hurries, no one shouts, ego free, a group of artisans all doing their work at the highest level very calmly and no stress, like zero stress. And he comes in under budget and under schedule. I think he was 6 days left in the shooting schedule when he finished. And so
Wow.
what I learned from that is hurrying is just a byproduct of ego, and a tense set is a byproduct of insecurity of the filmmakers. So if you give a space for the actors to do their thing, and the production designer and the cinematographer just let it happen, and really choosing the right team is the key, then it doesn't have to be a stress experience. It can be a joyful experience, which this was. This movie was really a joy to make.
I'm very glad to hear that. Like it's yeah, always like, I've been on like my own sets kind of previously and I was always like crunched for time. I was thinking, all these things in my head of like, oh, I wonder what a professional set is like. So it's nice to hear that they're kind of they're organized and like but also like when you're on set something could go wrong like it's always gonna happen like you could plan perfectly and it's always some oh, the actor can't do this day or whatever it is so I
Sure.
think that's a great thing about kind of directing is that you're always thinking on your toes like always what it is um
Well,
and
Bailey, it's no different than regular life because let's say you're not on set, you're not shooting, but you're just making your day. You don't know what's going to happen,
it's very
right?
true, yeah.
And we have to be on our toes. We have to be alert to life. It's not a separate thing. I think about this a lot. My I think the greatest thing about life is also the most difficult thing about life, and that is we do not know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And humans are so obsessed about this. They get their tarot read. They look in the astrological charts. I mean, they go to psychics. Like people find it unbearable to not know what's coming.
Yeah.
But if you surrender to the joy of not knowing what's next, and you let your life unfold like a story, like a joke, and you're waiting for the punchline, like a book you're turning and you don't know what the next page has, you can be really excited
Yeah.
by all the things that come at you instead of upset or try to be controlling. And that's why surrender, really, as an artist and as a human being, surrender is so key to personal happiness. Because the sooner we learn, and you're at the beginning of life, if you learn this now, you're going to fly like a rocket. The sooner we learn that we do not have control, the more peaceful our lives become. And
Yeah.
that's not, we say, oh, I'm blown by the wind. No, we do what we want to do. We follow our dreams. We love our families. We do our schoolwork. We do those things. But when things hit us out of nowhere, if we're not surprised, we say, oh, okay, oh, today it's that. So, and then we take it for what it is. Then we can move through so much more easily. Usually something happens, we're like, oh, I can't believe it. Oh, I'm stuck in traffic. Oh, that phone call never happened. Like, and we get so upset and we get sidetracked and we waste all this time as opposed to just going, oh, okay, today it rained. Groovy.
Yeah.
I'll grab an umbrella. Let's keep going.
Exactly, and just make the most of it, and like whatever your face is, you just adapt and overcome. So yeah, you're right. It is like just like being regular life on set, not on set. You know,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's just it's it's beautiful, really, that you can just adapt. As a young director myself and writer. I'm curious if there's any like kind of advice you can give like myself and people around the world who kind of wish to be kind of in your position and have written and done these great things that you have. You have any kind of words of wisdom or advice to kind of help that happen?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the writing side. Um, Screenwriting is exceptionally difficult, and there are very few people on the planet that are any good at it because you have to encapsulate the full human emotion, all the dialogue, and also make a twisty turny in the story, and to do all that and really put a visual experience on the page. So it's like not just the architectural plan, but the model of the house
Yeah,
that would be designed. And you need enough space so that people can come and live in that house. So it's the plan, the model, and the actual house.
exactly.
That is why it takes so long to get good at it, because it's a craft. And so, what I would encourage young film writers is be patient. Be patient with yourself. Never stop writing. Never stop rewriting. Like when you see a movie like Bonhoeffer, you're watching the 40th draft of the script when you're watching this, when you're watching the movie. Like I never stop working and improving and shaping. And our rule in my production company is no script goes out until every scene is as good as the best scene.
That's
Too
good.
often we do set pieces or we think, oh, this is the big emotional scene, and then we just string stuff together. But that lets the audience sort of vanish. They're in and out. Did I like that? Does it feel? And so you need to be seamless and to aim high with all of your scenes. Again, this takes time. So be patient with yourself. And then the other thing is in screenwriting, learn the rules before you break them. Because the way into professional writing is proving to the pros when they read your script that you honored what a screenplay should be.
Yeah.
If you want to go off and make indie movies, you can write whatever you want, direct whatever you want. That's a whole other world
Yeah.
and artistic world, and God bless. But if you want to work in Hollywood, if you want to make mainstream movies for a large audience, you got to follow certain rules. There's one book that I recommend always. I'm not a fan of screenwriting books, but I think there's one that's genius, and that's called Making a Good Screenplay Great by Linda Seeger. It's about rewriting, but it so perfectly maps out what a screenplay should be. It's a real help when you're young to go, oh, I need to do this by page 60. I need to do this by page 90. Because then you can hold the mirror of this information up to your draft and you'll find out how askew you are. And you'll realize, oh my goodness, that's why the screenplay is dragging because my page 60 moment doesn't happen until page 80. So I need to move it back. I need to trim out. I need to change things so I can land this spot.
Mhm.
And it is a recipe. You have to get the eggs and the flour and the sugar. You got to mix it in a certain way. You got
Yeah.
to cook it for so long. Like there are rules. And the more attuned you are to the rules, the more freedom you will have in your storytelling.
That's right. Because if you like I've been writing for a couple of years now, and I kind of know, I've gotten better with each kind of screenplay that I've written,
Yeah.
and I think it's always about like the characters and like kind of the moments. As you said, like if you this big thing, oh yeah, I've got this idea for page 60. Yeah, but how'd you get there? You don't want to like string it along. You want to make sure it's all cohesive and that, as you said, each scene is almost the best scene. Like you could pick this one scene in, minute 43, like 50 seconds, and it could still be great because
Yes.
if you've written these characters so well and so humanly and honestly that there shouldn't be a scene that feels out of place that, okay, well, how did that get there? How did this happen? Because you've watched these characters, you kind of know their principles and kind of what they're about. I think with Bonhoeffer that especially like obviously his real life kind of preaches and what he did at that time to bring that to the kind of silver screen like that must have been an amazing feeling like knowing that you could share this maybe not so well known story of that time and a period in history with audiences worldwide. Like, how did that like feel to kind of bring that all together?
It felt amazing. I mean, look, it's a miracle to get a movie made. As you can see, I mean, I appreciate that you're a fan of my work. I really do. But I've been doing it for 37 years, and maybe 6 or 7 things have come out. That doesn't mean I only worked on 6 or 7 things.
Yeah,
My script graveyard is full, and there are many stories that I thought, oh, this will definitely get made, and got really close to getting made, but just didn't get made. So the fact that Dietrich's story is out there in the world and touching people and reminding viewers that they can be brave too, that they can fight for the little guy, that
yeah,
his life can still be inspirational 80 years after his death, that's deeply humbling. That this was one of the ones that got to get made. So I'm thrilled, but mostly I would just say humbled that I got to be the one to tell his story on the big screen.
that's amazing. I think we've not got a lot of time left, unfortunately for this interview. But it was really great, like to speak to you and to kind of hear your thoughts on writing and kind of advice, um, of of young filmmakers and people like who want to get in that genre, and just hearing, you know, how how passionate you were for the story. I could tell that when watching it. Like, it was through the screen. It was just passion was all, the heart was all there, and you could tell you wanted to make just a great film.
Well,
So
Bailey, I look forward to seeing your movies. I can tell
thank you.
I'm going to be sitting in the cinema eating popcorn watching a Bailey McKenzie film.
Thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot. Um, that means a lot. Yeah, we are. Uh, I'm currently writing my third film, so we're kind of getting that into production at the minute. Um,
Love it.
hopefully soon. Um, but yeah, it was great to speak to you, and hope you all have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.